Hello and welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John, where in each episode we'll stroll down the Macintosh memory lane. We'll discuss older Macintosh computers, collecting all things related to the Mac and Apple computer, and current topics from the perspective that only a couple of old Mac fans can provide.
Da, 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 da. Hello. Hello, Henry. Good evening to you. Hello, John. Good evening to you.
Hello, James.
All right. Here we are.
Yes.
Yes. And I see you've got the lights on this time. There's a reason for that.
What's that?
Well, there's a reason, right, that you have the lights on. Because you're going to show off some hardware behind you later.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Right. This week, John's going to show us what he learned messing around with his Mac recorder. We've talked about it for a month, maybe.
Yeah. Ever since I forget. I forget who you had the link for a guy who was making new ones.
Oh, right. Yes.
That's what prompted this is because
right.
I
had
making
one, new ones.
Never used it.
And you've had one all these years.
Seriously, all these years. Like probably before we started doing the podcast, I've had it sitting in a drawer. So
awesome. Well, it'll be exciting to see whether it works or not. This episode will suck hard if it doesn't work. We'll just say, well, I plugged it in, nothing happened. And now to
dim the lights in this half of the county, but
all right, let's start this in a serious manner. Let's start the episode. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 694 for October 21st, 2024. Good evening, John.
Good evening, James.
Of course, it is an evening. We've been doing it in the evening, the podcast, I don't know how long now. I know there's some cries I see in the chat to move it to Sunday mornings.
I know it doesn't. It just doesn't work for you. I understand.
We did it on Saturdays too for a longest time for many years too, right? And then it switched to Sunday, and then I don't even remember when it switched to the evenings. It's been years now.
It's probably been easily a year or so.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Okay. But it does. I think it does make it helpful for more people if they want to join us on a Monday evening here at 7 p.m. Central. Join us on YouTube and join the chat as a few people have. Hello, Frodo Jedi.
Apples Anonymous.
Henry. This week it's Mac Recorder. We had teased it for a number of weeks ever since we came across that development of a renewed Mac Recorder, right? But it did two things, right? I'm blanking now.
It did more things than the regular Mac Recorder.
It had another function.
But yes, yeah.
I don't remember what it did. But John has a legit original Mac Recorder.
That's right.
And so he's going to show and tell later in the episode. And we've got eBay finds. We've got a little bit of news. And that'll fill up an episode, right? Okay. All right. We'll be right back with some eBay finds. Okay. Your evening is my morning. Fine with me.
Yeah, this is
that a riddle?
The overseas peeps. This is actually much better for them.
All right. Let's pull up some eBay finds here. Oh, there we go. All right. Let's do it in 3, 2, 1. Time now for the eBay finds. Last week we had the bumper sticker that says, "I'd rather be driving a Macintosh," with the 6-color Apple logo. That bumper sticker. Oh, how did it end? It ended with 0 bids. It had a $29.95 starting bid. I figure it was worth that, right?
Yeah.
Cool piece of history. Original bumper sticker. Has it been relisted? No, not that I can tell. And then we have the all-in-one G3 Mac, or Molar Mac, as it's sometimes called. And they wanted to buy it now of $1,399.
I bet that didn't sell.
No, it did not.
Yeah.
But they still have a make it offer.
Yeah, it's I think that's a bit pricey. Yeah.
And then the Apple IIe card for Macintosh includes all the original stuff, including the box. After 9 bids, it sold for, drum roll please, what's your guess?
Oh goodness. Probably 250.
Try 461.
Holy
78.
cow. Wait, is it? Remember the sealed one a few weeks ago? Did that
There was
one
a sealed
sell?
one. Yeah, there was a sealed one on, I think, on that RR auction that went for like
Yeah.
$1,000 or something like
Oh,
that.
gee whiz.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm holding on to mine until the price hits about 10K. Then I'm gonna sell. Okay. Let's start with this 1984 original 128K Apple Macintosh computer, Picasso poster and frame. The description says some scuffs and scratches, but in generally good shape given the age. So this looks to be a legit original Picasso poster in frame. I'm looking behind me because I was checking my frame. I have one like this with this frame.
Uh-huh. So they were actually sold, do you think, with that frame then?
No.
Just a
I
lot
think
of people.
they were provided to dealers, maybe.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have one that looks like this that's similarly framed, but I don't think any of them were framed by Apple. I think if they were distributed, I think they were framed by whomever received them. This one, I wish they had real close-up shots. So, from the distance that the photos are taken, it looks like it's in pretty decent shape. And
Yeah.
Assuming it was framed when it was new.
So let me ask you though, on that frame, is
Yeah.
is the lens on that, is it glass or is it plastic? Because that looks a little off, but I could see if it was plastic, where maybe the plastics, the clear plastic's kind of yellowed.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's a plastic in that frame.
Because if it's been framed all this time, there's no reason the print itself should be dingy the way it looks right now.
It looks pretty good from this photo. They want to buy it now of $275. We can make an offer on this.
Not bad. I mean,
ships
we've
from Stony
seen
Brook,
them
New York.
go
Yeah,
a lot more than that.
and looks like at least a passable frame. It's hard to tell again the quality from the photo. But it looks pretty solid. And again, there is a best
tempting.
offer. Ships from Stony Brook, New York. Okay. Next.
All right. Next, we have an Apple Macintosh SE motherboard. This is just the motherboard. The seller says it's guaranteed working board, but please note, cannot guarantee the battery. Probably 35 years old. It is socketed and easy to remove, and anyone at home will be happy to know that it's not a Mac Cell battery in there. You probably should. The seller should have probably just removed it anyway. Just to be on the safe side. But again, 100, guaranteed. I don't know how long they guarantee it for. So this hasn't been recapped. Not that the SE board needed that recapping. It doesn't have any surface mount caps. It's got through hole caps. So it's a whole lot safer than your SE30 board. And very reasonable price, I think, $75 or best offer. If you're thinking about doing a project like Ron McAdams was on last week talking about, where him and the other gentleman whose name escapes me did the 3D case and everything, so you could basically turn your SE or SE30 board into a small pizza box.
Yeah,
Mac.
that's why I thought of this, because of exactly that project.
I do notice that there's no RAM in this. Not that it's hard to get RAM for this. So no RAM. So
here's something. When I was looking at this larger board, the use of Modern Tectura on the boards, even to this point in history.
Good point.
Does
Yeah.
that remember? Do you remember
Well,
was it still a thing?
it's one of those. It may have been just that the boards were created well before the computers were released, right? I haven't actually. I
Uh,
could go back and look at like what kind of font is on the original Mac Plus board, but yeah,
yeah,
the SE
were
SE
they
was a
using that
trailing one.
font clear into the SE? I mean,
I
it certainly wasn't
guess.
on the box or
No,
anything,
certainly no, not on the box, not on the
or the manuals or anything
right.
that was like. I mean, you associate it with like an Apple II thing, and that it was on the boards. I wonder how long that persisted, right?
Yeah, I'm curious now. I'll have to
Hmm.
pop open my SE30 and look and see what that had on it, and
Yeah,
also if the SE, if there was like a mix of ones that had the modern Tictura and some that didn't,
yeah.
just depending on when their production date was, or maybe even location that they were made.
Hmm.
But still,
Well,
$75,
yeah,
not bad,
or make an
not bad.
offer. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Now I
Oh,
love it. We've been doing this podcast. We're coming on 20 years, and when you come across something that you've never seen before, or it could be we've seen it before and then I've simply forgotten that we saw it. I mean, we've done it long enough. This is the ultra rare, it says right here in the title, Apple, the personal computer wooden box. And the description says it's extremely rare, wooden box inscribed with the personal computer, Apple logos, and some thick and thin horizontal lines based on the logo style and the personal computer text. I suspect it was made in the late 70s or early 80s. When I acquired this piece, I had not seen one before and haven't seen one since, despite lengthy internet searches. I do not know what the box was used for. If anyone out there knows, please send me a message. I'd appreciate it.
yeah.
Box is in good shape.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh, well, it just goes on to say a few minor scratches, nothing more remarkable. The lid slides on groove tracks, and it can be completely removed. There is a pill-shaped recessed area in the middle of the lid's bottom edge, so a finger pull. Measures 14.5 inches by 10.5 inches by 4.5 inches.
So,
What were you
so
going
the
to say?
graphic is very reminiscent of an Apple IIe era poster.
Yes.
You probably pegged that immediately,
Yeah, it was
even to the
even
point
on the
of
box. Yeah,
right. Yeah, and
on the
even to the
packaging.
point of on the poster there were little colored long skinny blocks, and on this
Right.
one they've got it's in gray. So this is basically what, two colors, three colors. You've got a gray apple. You've got an Apple logo in the upper left corner with a modern Tectura font. Again,
Yeah,
um, yeah,
it's
this
like
is
a
weird though
silver and gray,
because
I guess,
yeah, it's not. At first, I'm
and
like,
black.
oh, does it hold floppy, 5.25 inch floppy disks?
Right.
But no, it doesn't. It's not deep enough to do that. It's yeah.
Yeah, what was it
What was this
designed
for?
for? Like the manuals or something?
Yeah, you did the dimensions on it, right? 14.5 by
Uh-huh.
10.5 by 4.5. Yeah. Ah,
It's a
well,
very, very intriguing, very mysterious. It looks like legit. Like, I mean, it looks like
oh,
this doesn't
absolutely.
look like somebody made this
No,
themselves. This,
absolutely
yeah,
not. No, this had to have been
um,
like a silkscreen print on this wood.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite something. Well, the seller thinks it's quite something too. And so they're asking $2,799.99.
Wow.
But they're willing to take an offer.
I do like the username Mactivate.
Yeah, Mactivate has a number of actually
Oh my
interesting
goodness, yeah.
items, all located in Portland, Maine. Um, yeah, the mystery box. Wow, what could have been used for? Um, who knows? Will it go for $2,800? I kind of doubt it, but
Yeah.
it certainly is rare, as we've never come across one before. All right, well, we'll check in next week and see if you got somebody to buy it.
So I'm looking at this person's other stuff, and it's kind of
Yeah,
interesting because the price range on some of the stuff is like, oh my gosh, what were they thinking? To oh my gosh, that's very reasonable.
Yeah,
like
there's
the
we can scroll through it here real quickly.
yeah, please.
The seat cushion from the Super Bowl looks like a really excellent
65
example.
bucks, not bad.
With the best offer. Quick Take 200. There's a lot of notepads. There's a sealed Quick Take 150 for 180 to start bidding. Variety of different Apple logo
But like
items.
there's two coffee cups on here. There's one that's $47.97, and then there's one that's $1,050. And then
Yes.
followed by a $20 one. So
Some old Apple II cassettes. I like the yeah, let me see if I can the one that's the ridiculously priced one is one that I have, and it is super rare.
the fluted with the
Yeah, the
wide
one that's
base,
shaped
yeah.
like a Mac with a keyboard on it.
Oh
and
yeah,
Smiley Mac.
yeah, right.
Yeah, these are extremely rare.
I want the ultra rare sealed the Apple Boogie Apple Computer Music cassette tape from 1987.
Yes, $800. Yes. All right, lots of cool stuff in there.
But oh my gosh, the vintage Apple II computer game cassette tapes. That's so amazing. $300 for 8 of them, including Telepong and Data Mover. Yeah, just in case you need those. Wow.
All right. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do this in 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, this is the week that John shares with us his experience messing around with his Mac recorder that was long lost in his drawer for a decade. I don't know. How long have you had the Mac recorder? Do you remember where you got it?
No. Again, it would have been from one of the school sales. And
Okay.
I'm sure I've had it longer than we've been doing this podcast. I've probably had it for like 20-ish years. No kidding.
For some strange reason, we have never done an episode on it, even though it's sort of an iconic piece of hardware, I think.
Yeah.
It's iconic because it was so like ahead of its time and so capable when it came out in 1988. And actually, it came out as sort of it was published, the source code and the hardware design, back in 85 in the newsletter of the Berkeley Macintosh Users Group, offered up by Michael P. Lamoureux, a graduate student there at Berkeley. Later, the design was provided or sold, I guess, to Fairlawn Computing, and it became the Mac Recorder sound system, sold commercially first in January of 1988, released at the Macworld Expo in San Francisco for $199, which translates to about $530 today. So it was the very first peripheral that allowed you to digitize sounds. Yeah.
And
a microphone.
And
there it is.
What's kind of cool. So here it is. Oh, sure.
There it is. Okay. So you could hook up a microphone or a line.
It actually came with a built-in mic. So that little silver disc is a built-in.
Oh, that's a mic.
That's a mic. Yeah.
Oh, it looks like a little dial. It's a strange.
I know. Yeah. There's
What's is it like rubber edged? What's on the periphery of that little?
No, it's it's a little rubber edge, and then it's got your Yeah. And actually, not bad sound to it. But yes, you do have a mic in and a line out. It's got a
what is that,
sensitivity adjustment right there.
It's not an SD card slot.
You can see
a little yellowing.
Look at yellow there compared
two-tone.
To the bottom. Yeah. It's definitely two-tone.
Yeah, it's colored. It's colored. Is it meant to be like a platinum or beige? Is it beige? A little lighter? I don't know.
It's more of a platinum than
Yeah. About the size of a deck of cards, maybe two decks of cards. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
And so it plugs in to which port?
To the serial port. It'll go to either one, but I can tell you right now, if you get one of these, just go ahead and plug it into the modem port. Because every time I restart I made the mistake of plugging it into the printer port, and every time I start up, it's like it reverts back to the modem port. So just if you get one of these, yeah, just go with the mono port. It's just easier.
Yeah.
So we're gonna instead of showing you this on the actual Macintosh back here though, I've got the software running in Mini VMac, and I
Oh,
did a couple of samples ahead of time.
okay.
And
So I
so
switch that.
we're gonna switch that. There we go. And let me just change my audio on my system here so I can
So the
hear.
hardware shipped with some software, which included
Yes.
HyperSound, which was a HyperCard-based utility, and Sound Edit, which was developed by Steve Capps, formerly of Apple.
Yeah.
He had taken a leave of absence and made this, which was again the first digital audio editing program. And then
All right, you ready
Farallon
to
acquired it.
hear these?
All right. So we've got Mini VMac running Sound Edit.
Yeah. All right. So what we're gonna do is so I did 2 recordings using the built-in microphone, and then I hooked up my electric ukulele to it.
Mhm.
When you record, there's different settings as far as recording options go. If you've got it's dependent on how much RAM you've got as to how long you can record. Right now, I've got 4 files open, so I don't have as much space. But if I have just the software open and no windows open, at 22 kilohertz, which is the best quality that you can record at, it'll give you right around 30 seconds. And at 5 kilohertz, which is the lowest range, it gives you almost 2 minutes on one.
So you're
So
not recording
sorry.
you're not recording a complete song or something like that. There's going to be snippets.
Hang on, let me switch my audio because I cannot hear you.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
that's
What were you
okay.
saying?
I was just saying it's given the limitations, you're not going to be recording like songs or
Right. Well, and again,
right.
this is hooked up to a
That's
Mac
your
Plus.
piecing things together. Yeah.
There isn't any reason that I can see that this should work just fine on pretty much any Mac with a serial port. So if you got like this hooked up to an SE30 with a ton of RAM, I bet you'd have
Uh-huh.
a lot more
Yeah.
recording. I'll have to play around with that. Hook this up to an SE30 just to see. All right, you ready
All
for
right.
these audio samples?
I'm ready.
All right, switching. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is we'll do the ukulele first, and I'm going to play the worst recording, which is going to be the 5 kilohertz, and we're just going to play that. All right, you can. That sounded really muddled.
Yeah.
Going to the 22, it's quite a world of difference as far as how good it sounds. All right, and then let's go ahead and we're gonna go to the recording 5 kilohertz.
It's not old, it's retro.
I don't know if you can even hear that.
Yes,
all right, so,
I can hear it.
Then 22.
It's not old, it's retro.
And that's using the built-in mic, which sounds pretty
Yeah,
good.
it does sound
this
pretty
thing,
good.
so the sound edit, let me do one more thing, also has effects built in.
Oh,
So we
look
can
at all this stuff.
throw a little echo on there, and let's try that again.
It's not old, it's retro.
Oh wow.
So there you
The
go.
stadium
All right,
effect.
I'm going to switch back. So I actually hear James talk. All right, go ahead, James.
All right. I'll tell you what. I mean, at that time, this was amazing. The ability to not only to input this, but to edit with Sound Edit and see the waveforms and
see
apply
the waveform.
effects.
Yeah, you can actually really
adjust
zoom way the heck in.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can, like you said, you can apply the effects to whatever area you want. There's quite a few built in. You can copy and paste into other documents. As you mentioned, the software, one of the things that it came with was software to let you input these audio clips directly from Mac Recorder into your HyperCard stacks. So, and again, for that little tiny built-in mic, for as old as this thing, that sounded pretty darn good to me at the 22 kilohertz.
Yeah,
not bad at all. And it's so sad. I tried so hard to find an actual microphone to plug into that port. couldn't find a one. The closest I got was being able to hook a ukulele up to it. So there you go.
Wow. Yeah, I can remember this would have been the fall of 88. So, Mac Recorder came out earlier that year. I can remember someone on my dorm room had a Mac 2. And I don't remember if they had a Mac Recorder. They certainly had some sound bites that were recorded. I remember they had the Coke commercial, the jingle, as recorded sound as one of them. And it was just mind-blowing to hear digital audio as good as it was coming out of a computer. And I copied a bunch of these sounds onto a floppy disk just so I could take them to my computer and play them, when people
my
would
gosh,
come by and
that's
say,
great.
watch this, let me play something that sounds
I'm
this
gonna
good on a
blow your
computer.
mind.
Yeah. I mean, because a lot of the other sounds coming out of computers are just like, beeps and things,
Beeps.
right?
Yeah. I want to show you one more thing on the software here. Sorry
Okay.
for those at home, but listening to this. But the About Sound Edit threw me
Yeah.
for just a second, because when you click About Sound Edit, it looks like you've got a garbled system problem. And sorry,
Uh-oh.
serious system error has occurred.
And the bomb explodes.
It's just, and it explodes, and it actually explodes with sound.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and then you can
That's
just
cool.
hit resume. But for
Yeah.
just a second, it looks like a real honest to goodness, some sort of memory
And
glitch.
the logo for Sound Edit with the computer with the little dog, which I
Yeah.
think is reminiscent of the RCA dog.
Right,
I
but it
used to
also
have.
looks a lot like our favorite dog cow, kind of.
A little bit.
But yes, it's definitely reminiscent
Claris.
of the RCA, listening to his master's voice.
Well, Mac
yes.
Recorder was pretty much the only game in town for a fair bit of time, but
until
eventually
Apple released hardware, right?
Yeah. In October 1990 is when the Macintosh LC and 2SI started shipping, and they had built-in audio in ports, so you had this ability just built in. So the Mac Recorder was Sherlocked before Sherlock was even a thing. Of course, Sound Edit would live on the software standalone in many versions and still be quite a popular Sound Edit application for years to come. Well, that's great that your Sound Edit hardware worked. You're able to record some stuff. So, yeah, there's still some out there. And again, I think it was like 2 or 3 episodes ago, there was that project where somebody was building new hardware to do the same thing. I wonder if it recorded at better quality and increased the envelope of what Mac Recorder was doing or not. I don't know. Anyway, all right. Thanks for John.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to come back or we're just going to talk to his computer here on out.
Wait, done something. Oh, hang on a second. There we are.
Aha. You're back. Oh, yeah. Switch to this. Okay, let's do the news. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. It's time for the news. I wanted to check in on that Bonham's auction for the Twiggy-based Macintosh prototype. Let's see, today's the 21st. This ends on the 23rd of October. So one day, 16 hours ago, it's at $65,000. I don't even remember what it was last week. Do you remember?
No.
I don't remember. They didn't add any other photos.
Go for?
80 to 120.
Okay, so they're rapidly approaching that 80.
Yeah. All right. A couple of things in the news. We actually, I want to skip that one. I want to talk about. Oh, great.
I know the pop-ups are.
Cult of Mac. They do a Today in Apple History. Luke Dormo has been doing this for years, and just happened to catch it this week. And he wrote about the forgotten first Mac with an internal CD-ROM, and posts an advertisement introducing the Macintosh 2VX. and writes about how on October 19th they launched the 2VX with the metal case and internal CD-ROM codenamed Brazil. Yeah, the CD-ROM, boy, was that an amazing thing.
back when it was in a caddy. Do you remember those caddies?
I
With
do
early
remember the
ones?
caddies, yes,
Yes.
because around that time they also shipped the external CD-ROM. I think it was the 150
Okay.
caddy-based CD-ROM, and it came in a multimedia kit that I remember I paid like $699 for.
Oh,
So it
wow.
include the speakers and a bunch of software. But yeah. And now
Yeah,
the
they show.
CD-ROM.
Speaking of speakers in here, I see they show. That's a Bose speaker.
It is, yeah. In this
Yeah.
ad, this isn't the speaker that came with that kit. This is a different
Oh,
speaker.
nice.
Actually, do I have a set of speakers, but this is a variation of that.
Well,
I
they
don't
also did
have
a,
that
a
set.
set for the 2GS of the
Yeah, that's the
Bose.
set I have. I don't have
Right.
this set. It'd be a cool set to have. All right, and then you stumbled upon what?
So over on Reddit, somebody posted the most amazing thing. It is a software based. All right, so there was a somebody named Musterman did a software based accelerator for overclocking your LC475, Quadra 605, LC575, Mystic Color Classic to 40 megahertz and beyond. So we're talking software based. No messing with oscillation, oscillators, crystal clocks, whatever. It's all software based. And then
so when you say software based, is it that you're talking?
Yeah.
It's not software that then affects some kind of clock
Yes.
change.
Yes.
It
It's
does.
something.
Yeah, so it's software based, but I mean it's software that tweaks the hardware.
Well, yeah, but just the fact that was even possible on those systems,
right? That you don't
just
you don't have to replace a
fine.
chip or
Exactly.
change a capacitor or something like
Right.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so somebody else, Phiply, PHIPLI, wrote a system extension and a control strip. So now you can use this and on the fly change it with a control strip module.
Wow.
And so I definitely want to do this on. I've got a Mystic Color Classic, and I've got an LC475 here. I think what we are going to have to do is do an episode of just trying marathon at normal, settings.
Yeah.
And get the frames per second, and then try it with this just to see how much of a difference it makes. I'm looking very forward to this, and I still. Can you imagine if somebody had come up with this software back when these systems were new? How much money they would have made?
So stock on a Mystic is what, 33?
I think 33. Yeah. So they're bumping it up to 40 or possibly
45.
Even more
they said. Yeah.
But from what people were saying in the comments, 40 is very stable. Anything more than that, and your results may vary.
Yeah.
I find this fascinating. Yes.
Right. So of course we'll post the link in the notes, but it was posted over in the Reddit under Vintage Apple. Mr. Fahrenheit _451 wrote a little article about it. Yeah, that's really slick. It goes to show you, that they could have clocked these chips way faster. For whatever reason they didn't. I don't know, maybe under their tests, maybe it wasn't as reliable. Maybe they were reserving another product for faster chips at some point. Who knows? But yeah, that's pretty awesome that so many years later somebody is still trying to figure out how to get more hertz out of your LC. Awesome. All right. Well, I think we're about wrapped up. It's a quick episode this week. Gave you a long one last week. Even it out. All right. Let's do a little outro.
You want to mention that you will
Oh yeah,
be
we'll
gone for
mention
2
that in the
weeks.
outro.
All right.
All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1. All right, that wraps up another episode of the RetroMacCast. We're going to be off for 2 weeks. I've got some travel. I'll be out and about. We'll return on November, whatever that is. It's Veterans Day, right? November 11th.
Ah, okay.
We'll be
Yeah.
back November 11th. 7 p.m. Central on YouTube, streaming it live. And I don't know, maybe John will have some time to mess around with this overclocked Color Classic
Yeah.
in those intervening weeks. He sounds excited about it, so
I
I'm
am.
gonna strike
Hey,
where the iron is
if I
hot.
can get a marathon running faster on those two systems, great.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. All right. Anything else we need to talk about?
Yeah, I want to mention one other thing. So Sunday I was out here in the Mac Attic working on the Clear SC30 behind me. I had to recap the analog board and the power supply. And I brought up Dave's Vintage Apple Tech's the Sunday Retro Repair Show. I was just going to have it on the background. I was invited on, so I was on there for several hours. If you ever get a chance, I highly recommend checking out the Sunday Repair Show. It's a lot of fun, and you learn a lot of good stuff, or just be entertained by all the antics that happen on it. And next Sunday, they're doing their Halloween special, so you'll see people working on vintage tech in costumes. So there you go.
Awesome. Okay. Well, until November 11th, remember, it's not old.
It's retro.
Derek says that he's glad that we're still both above ground. I don't know what the reference is there. Is that a hurricane reference?
Because of the hurricanes. Yeah. We where we are in Florida, we got nothing.
We were
from
a
the
long
last
ways
couple.
away.
Yeah.
Florida is a
But we
gigantic
appreciate
state, it turns out.
It's crazy. I mean, it's how long does it take to drive from where we are in Florida down to Miami? It's what, 10 hours?
12 hours.
12 hours? What
About
state?
10 plus.
12, 10 to, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it would take, I think if you drove from the eastern edge or the western edge to the southeastern, it would probably take you 12, 13 hours.
So to put that in perspective, where we live in Florida, when I drive to Wisconsin, is only 18 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah. If that tells you something. So,
yeah. But thanks for thinking of us, Derek. We do occasionally get the big storm or the hurricane, and we're fortunate this time. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah.
Glad you could tune in.
Derek,
see some familiar faces.
Anonymous, Henry, Roto Jedi.
Does Derek have a new episode out there that we need to talk about? Yes, he does. Actually, there's several since we last talked about his podcast. The latest one, October 19th. It was a couple of days ago. Apple's 1989 year in review from Macworld, January 1990 episode. Awesome. I'm sure that's a great listen.
Oh, dear.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see everybody in a couple of weeks. Play a little music here.
Thanks for listening to the RetroMacCast with James and John. Email listener comments and questions to retromaccast@gmail.com or post comments on our website at www.retromaccast.com.